Hello, welcome to Chris Cooks. I'm Chris, and my son Carson produces this show for some of the great things that I've learned how to cook. And this, honestly, is one of my favorite of all dishes. From close to 40 years ago, I am an old guy, but it's a pasta dish, and it's called Pasta Mia Pasta. There was a restaurant in Pacific Grove called Pasta Mia's. Wonderful food, and this was their signature dish, and it is really unique in its ingredients. For instance, scallions, okay, garlic, everything's good there, cilantro, awesome, pepperoni, sun-dried tomatoes, pine nuts, pinon nuts in New Mexico come from pinon trees. Pasta, I prefer this kind of hard pasta. We'll cook it and you'll see what it does. For spicing, a little salt and pepper, but a little red pepper works good. Golden raisins are in this. There is a combination of sweet of pepperoni that I dearly love, and everything is simply better with garlic. So in a minute, we're going to start cutting and chopping. So the first thing we're going to have to do is prep the ingredients, and we'll go through. Most people know how to do these things, but we'll just review it a little bit. These are scallions, or green onions, depending on how you say it. I do get asked how much of each ingredient, and my answer is as much as you have. I have never fixed this dish and not run out. In other words, people love this dish. Put as much of it as you can bear. So we're going to do the scallions. I cut the ends off. See if there's a little bit of I don't like. Get rid of a little bit of that. We're going to throw this stuff away. And then I do this. I take my knife. Oh, a friend of mine gave me this knife. It's probably more than 50 years old. Good friend of mine was a sous chef at Ritz-Carlton in New York, in San Francisco. And when he went to culinary school, he was an outstanding chef, and the head of the school gave him this knife. And he and I became friends enough, he gave the knife to me. So this has been around a long time. It is old world steel knife, and I just dearly love it. So anyway, I go down the scallions, take the middle, and just very carefully cut it, and just always fold your fingers under. You don't want to cut anything. And I don't separate the green and the white. I just cut it all together, and we take a bowl. Nice batch of scallions. The next thing I'm going to do, and this is more fun, garlic. Lived on a boat lots of years ago, and didn't matter what I was going to fix, it always started with garlic, and people lived on the boat, so drifting down the dock was roasting garlic and olive oil. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Anyway, so we'll do garlic, and I have finally found one of my favorite tools, and I had not seen one, and I missed it, but I'll show you what it is. So garlic is kind of a mess, but not bad. This takes the skin off of garlic. So you put a garlic in. I always take the little nub off. And you roll it. Voila. Clean garlic. So we'll do a few of those. And lo and behold, clean garlic. It's great. A garlic cleaner. One more. Clean garlic. And this one's got a little bad spot on it. I'll just take that off. So, let me take that. But now, I'm going to mince this. And the way you do that, hit it with a knife. And again, make sure you don't keep your fingers folded under. And I do. And because I generally cook garlic and onion at the same time, I'm just going to combine those two ingredients. So let me clean up a minute and I'll be right back. Now I'm prepping the cilantro. Just love cilantro. And it's real easy. You just take a fresh bunch of cilantro. And again, how much? All you can do, because it'll cook in, but it just is a wonderful fragrance and addition to this dish. So there's the cilantro. And then I'm going to grab some pepperoni. And I'll take a really, this is boar's head pepperoni, really good pepperoni. And I'm going to cut up quite a bit. I'm going to try one. Yeah. And again, I'm just going to quarter these. I want people to have the taste. I don't just be a passing interest. I hope you guys like pepperoni pizza, but Boar's Head makes great pepperoni. And I will do a similar job with the sun-dried tomatoes, and I can add them to the pepperoni. The sun-dried tomatoes are really vital to this dish. And they're pretty much diced and all anyway, but I still run the knife through them. Don't have to get too silly because they do saute up wonderfully. So there you go. That's the bulk of the ingredients, with the exception, one of the next things I'm going to do is roast the pine nuts. I'll show you that. There's the sun-dried, or the golden raisins. Everything else is in the pan. So we're starting to cook this dish and put it together. I have pasta water, and I'm going to turn it up on high and get the water going for cooking the pasta. And this, my saute pan, we're going to begin, and this burner gets pretty hot, so I'm going to let it, keep it kind of mild, olive oil. And I put a bunch in. We're going to use a lot of olive oil. And let that get warmed up. And I think I said one of the things I do is try and cook garlic and onions first. And I like wooden spoons, spatulas. And we're going to use, like I said, Penne Pasta. There's lots of different brands that work pretty well. I just like not long linguine or spaghetti or vermicelli. I just like the short for this dish. So we're going to take, it gets pretty hot, getting there, onions and garlic. And even those get a little salt. and a little pepper. And we'll let that begin to heat up. Now I showed you the pine nuts. I'm going to break tradition with my son. Pine nuts come raw. This is what they look like after you've roasted them. All you really do is get them hot. And again, in a skillet, a little bit of olive oil. And boy, are these good. Pine nuts are just wonderful. So we hear this start to sizzle. I'll just let it sit for a minute. Only takes a little bit. This is about maybe 15 minutes of prep and 15 minutes of cooking. So it's about a 30-minute meal. And that's not bad, especially for as good as it tastes. Oh yeah. Garlic and scallions. Doesn't get much better than that. This is the sun-dried tomatoes and pepperoni. I'm going to put those in. And let those start to move around. And the real key to doing a good job of this is have it hot enough to start, then turn it down and be very patient. This can saute for 15, 20 minutes. It only gets better because the flavors move together. Well, some gold raisins. That's what I was trying to say. Lots of raisins. So I'm going to turn the heat down on that and let it just sit there and let it just meld together. This will be the last thing, and the nuts just get tossed in. I'm going to see how quickly I can get the pasta in the water. So I'll come back to you in just a minute and we'll have the pasta cooking. So we're back and the water on the stove is hot. And in goes the pasta. I'm going to cook a bunch. And there's another trick. If you've ever seen a pasta pot boil up, put a wooden spoon over the top of it, and doesn't do that.
Why?
Just keeps it. Now, the other thing, this, I stir it to begin with so that none of these stick to the bottom. The bottom of the pan's pretty hot in order to get things boiling. That's it. I kept them from. So we just set that there. So smells good. Cilantro in. A little more heat up. I'm going to add a little olive oil more. I want this.
Let's see. You can add cooking jokes if you have any.
Smells so good. And see this boiling right away, but it doesn't get out of hand. I'll strain the pasta.
Get out your plates.
The other piece that I suggest of this kind of a dish is it's best served in rather like a
Say what
bowl plate.
say about the plates. Tell them about them.
Had those many years, and it is Villeroy and Bosch. It's a pretty famous brand name. We got them, Carson's mom and I, long time ago, and they kind of went out of production. Looked them up online one time. These bowls are worth about $150 to $200 a piece now. Anyway, it is the right kind. I don't like flat plates, and I don't like soup bowls for pasta. I like that kind of a bowl. Now we're going to put the pine nuts in. And this is about what it takes to cook pasta mia pasta. So a couple of more steps I'll show you. Turn this back down a little bit. Parmesan cheese. Grated Parmesan, real Parmesan. I'm going to put a few sprinkles, not very many, red peppers. I don't want, my wife doesn't like a lot of spice, but a little spice is great. So we'll put a little bit in. That's about enough. The fancy people will say they want your pasta al dente. Means cooked but not burnt, not mush. You want a little bite to it. So we'll do that. And let's see. Gosh, we're almost there. Let me do a couple of things and I'll come back in just a minute and we'll show you a plate. All right, the pasta's done. I'm going to take it over here to the drain. Looks great. Put it back in a little bit. Now here's the magic. Olive oil. Grated Parmesan. A little pepper. I'll use the spoon. So the pasta looks great. Now, the process of this dish is really cool. And it's so simple. It's just pasta, mia pasta. And trust me, that is one spectacular. This is, like I said, one of my favorite of all time. We're going to do more shows, and because my son has a sense of humor, he lets me decide what interesting things. In the past, we did a turducken. We've done a lot of interesting things. So we'll do something more, but I love this one. It doesn't get much better than pasta mia pasta. Thank you,
Mike.
Chris Cooks.